Oh, and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Owen, guys, bringing you your team every single day. This is the channel that brings you Glasgow Rangers news, views, updates, transfer rumours, podcasts, live streams. Guys, so much content, all for the grand price of nothing, zero, zip, nada. So, guys, if you want all that great daily news, if you want all that stuff, then just hit that sub, ring that notification bell, and give this video a like, guys. It does help with our YouTube algorithm. So we are so close now to 1,000 subs, that magic 1,000, which will enable Victoria and I to do so much more with this channel. Only 9 away now, guys. If you've not yet hit that sub, a lot of people have not. Watch the news, watch the channel. Don't hit the sub, guys. Please hit that sub now. Well, we've got a lot of news and views on Rangers to get through this morning. A lot of things going on as regards the club. We're going to start with news about former Rangers player Craig Moore. Craig Moore, obviously former defender, former Rangers star, has been talking to the media about the Rangers sporting director role. Now, some of you may be aware, some of you may not be aware that Craig Moore has previously done a sporting director's role for Brisbane Roar in Australia for 3 years. Moore would be certainly someone who would bring a knowledge of the Far East market, of the Australian market, and obviously of the US market, as well as obviously of Europe due to his time in Europe. Now, Moore is someone who Rangers fans have obviously been aware of, has been interested and possibly been linked with the sporting director role. And, you know, the fact that Moore is someone who has played for the club, understands what it is to be a Rangers man, understands how important this club is to its fans and the types of players that obviously are successful at Rangers. Moore in his interview all but offered himself to Rangers as sporting director. He kind of sort of winked his way through it in a way. Stopped short of saying yes, he wants the job, yes, he'd do the job if he was offered it. He seemed to stop short of actually coming out and directly saying he wanted the job. This is what Moore had to say when he was talking about the Rangers sporting director role. He says, "You laugh a bit, but that was a job I did for 3 years. But people go, it was only Australia. But look at what Ange's done. John Brady, an Australian coach, has just got promotion at Northampton." Now, obviously, he's referencing here the fact that he spent 3 years as a sporting director at Brisbane Roar. That's what he's talking about there when people say, oh, it was only Australia. But I suppose, you know, that was a comment that was made very much the same about Ange Postecoglou when he came to Celtic, you know, that, oh, he's only managed in Australia and Japan. Who's he? And obviously, you know, unfortunately, he has had a great amount of success at Celtic since obviously that 55 title winning season for Rangers. He really has sort of, I don't know, changed that team, that lot from across the city's fortunes around. And unfortunately, at the moment, they are dominating Scottish football. You know, people feel perhaps that Moore could do the same and help play a role in helping Michael Beale to develop and improve this squad and to obviously shift the balance of power back in favour of Glasgow Rangers, which is what we all want at the end of the day. Moore went on to say, "For me, it's important Australians do well because in regards of football, there is still that attitude at times. What does he know? We know a bit." Now, Moore obviously is someone who has had a wide and varied career. Moore obviously played in Scotland for Glasgow Rangers. So to talk down about Craig Moore, I think is obviously very insulting indeed. And obviously the fact that, you know, several Australian players have had great success, especially on the British Isles, people like Harry Kewell, Mark Viduka, for example, been obviously the two prime names that would come to mind. You know, Craig Moore obviously played for Rangers. He's also played for Crystal Palace, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Newcastle United, in a number of clubs in Europe, and went on to have success. Obviously represented his country 52 times as well. Moore obviously has won the Scottish Football League. He won the Scottish Cup. He won the Scottish League Cup. He won the Intertoto Cup with Newcastle. You know, he has had success. He is someone who understands what it is to have success and how to get that success. He also went on to talk about what he would do if he was a sporting director at Rangers. This is what he said. "I actually think they need to sell a player or two. Who would I sell? See, if an unbelievable offer comes through on any player, you have to consider it. You would have to seriously consider it because there is a rebuild and it costs money." You know, a very realistic attitude here from Moore to say, you know, look, yes, there is a need. We know that there is a need to rebuild this team, to rebuild this squad, to really develop and change the personnel. given the fact that I think there's a lot of players, as we know, in this squad who are way past their sell-by date when it comes to Rangers. So Moore's right. The club as well have talked about wanting to bring in the trading model, wanting to bring in the fact that you bring in players, you develop players, you improve players, and then you sell them on for a larger fee. And that is obviously something Moore is referencing there in his answer to fit in, obviously, with what Rangers intend to do. So is this kind of like a informal job interview by Craig Moore? Is this kind of a come get me plea to John Bennett, to James Bisgrove? What do you think? For me, it does seem like Moore is kind of throwing his hat in the ring and saying that he is very much interested in taking the job. I personally wouldn't be against it. He's got experience of doing it. Yes, I know it was only in Australia, but like we said, we can't be condescending about the fact that about Australian football. You can only look at obviously the success that Ange Postecoglou has had at Celtic. So Moore, he can't do any worse than Ross Wilson. Moore clearly has an eye for a player. He has experience of playing for Rangers. He has experience of playing in England. He is someone I think who would fit in well with Michael Beale as well. So could Craig Moore be that man? That is certainly something, that he seems to be indicating in these quotes that he has made today. News also broke yesterday about the fact that B team captain Robbie Fraser has signed a new contract. Fraser has agreed a contract extension through until the summer of 2024 has been confirmed. The Rangers B and Academy Twitter account announced this yesterday, saying the 20-year-old left back had signed for another couple of years at Rangers. Fraser's never actually played for the Rangers first team, but has trained with the Rangers first team squad and has also had a place in the matchday squad on a number of opportunities without ever getting on the bench. Fraser is Scottish born. He is Glasgow born. He is a left back as well. Now, obviously, with the situation with obviously quotas, could Fraser be a player that comes into consideration? Adding to that as well, the uncertainty around the future of Borna Barisic. Borna Barisic is obviously someone who's coming into the last year of his contract. Could Barisic be moved on? He could be one of those players that we could sell on for a fee, get 2-3 million for, and then reinvest that money in player acquisition. Obviously, with Ridvan Yilmaz at the club, Yilmaz could take over in that left back slot. Could Robbie Fraser therefore be his backup? Could Fraser be the answer? And obviously, like I said, he is someone who would help us to build up that Scottish quota. But it certainly seems that Fraser is someone who does have a future at the club, given the fact that they have offered him this new contract and he has obviously agreed to the new deal. So like I said, could Fraser come in and be the backup for Ridvan next year? Is this looking increasingly like the end of Borna's time at Rangers? As I've said on previous videos, decisions need to be made over John Lundstrom, Borna Barisic and Kamar Roof as they enter the last years of their contracts. We cannot be sitting here with the same situation that we are now sitting here with 8 players currently out of contract. Yes, I know that rumours are very, very strong that Arfield and Jack have been offered new one-year contracts. And in the case of Ryan Jack, 1 year with a further 12-month option. But, this is a situation where you could bring in money for the likes of Borna Barisic. I think he is one of the saleable assets. He is a Croatian international after all. Croatia have been a team that have had great success at World and European tournaments and obviously would attract attention from around Europe. And, a fee could be garnered for Barisic with obviously Ridvan already been here as a ready-made replacement. So, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Could Fraser be a decent backup to Ridvan and should we let Borna go this summer? Now, there's been lots of stories about who Rangers have been linked with in recent times. Obviously, the Josh Maja news the other day, Maja obviously being very coy over the interest in Rangers, saying that he would not be making any decisions until the season's end, which obviously Ligue 2 season in France has still not ended. And obviously, whether or not Bordeaux go back to the top flight has not yet been decided. Bordeaux obviously were relegated not because of playing reasons, but for financial irregularities. And, this is a season where they're trying to get back into Ligue 1, where they feel they rightly belong. And Maja has had a very successful season, scoring 16 goals in Ligue 2 in France. So, he is, like I said, he is someone who's been continually linked with Rangers, and I think would be an excellent signing if Rangers could get that one over the line. But a lot depends on what happens with Bordeaux. Now, another name that has been linked with Rangers today in the papers, which is absolute, complete and utter rubbish, in my opinion, is Victor Gyokeres of Coventry City, the Swedish international striker. Gyokeres has had a fantastic season for for Coventry and has helped fire Coventry into the Championship playoffs. And they obviously have got a playoff semi-final against Middlesbrough coming up. So obviously had the opportunity to be promoted to the Premier League. And obviously we felt if Coventry were promoted, Gyokeres would want an opportunity to play in the English Premier League with Coventry. Should he not be promoted, however, any link to Rangers, I think, is very highly doubtful, with Coventry wanting somewhere between 15 to 20 million for the Swedish centre-forward who scored over 20 goals the last couple of seasons for Coventry City. The likelihood of Rangers paying 15 to 20 million pounds for a centre-forward is absolutely non-existent. That would pretty much be spending our entire summer budget on one player. So I think, you're reading that story online now on a number of fan websites. I think you can kind of throw that one out and kind of say, yes, it is an absolute load of tosh. The club are not going to pay 15 to 20 million pounds for a centre forward, no matter how good he is. And there's no doubt that Gyokeres is a very talented centre forward. But as well, the fact that he's only done that in the Championship. He said he scored 20 odd goals in the English Championship. He's not yet done it at the highest level in the Premier League. To be asking 15 to 20 million is a bit stupid, but does really show how prices are overinflated south of the border in English football for someone who shows any semblance of talent or ability. The other name that has been linked recently is the Swansea striker Joel Piroe. Joel Piroe is a Swansea centre forward. He has also come through the youth system at PSV Eindhoven, so has an excellent upbringing in terms of his footballing pedigree. Piroe scored 22 goals for Swansea last season and has followed it up again with another 20-goal season for the club. In 45 appearances for Swansea this year, a struggling Swansea side that have finished kind of mid-table, he has scored 20 goals and had 2 assists, 22 goal contributions in 45 games, which is not bad at all. 7 yellow cards and 1 red card during his time with Swansea this season. Overall in Piroe's career, if you look at his time with in his career, he has played 92 games for Swansea, scoring 44 goals in those 92 games, nearly a 1-in-2 record with 8 obviously got assists. That's 52 goal contributions in 92 games. He's also played for PSV Eindhoven under 21s, under 19s, spent time at Sparta Rotterdam, played 14 games for PSV's first team, scoring 3 goals, as well as obviously representing PSV at under 19 UEFA level and under 17 level. So you can clearly see that Piroe has an excellent footballing upbringing and excellent footballing pedigree. Piroe certainly would be someone I think who would have great success in the Scottish Premier League. I think Piroe could score us 15, 20, even 25 goals in a season. And that is something that Rangers really are looking for if they are going to challenge Celtic again next season. One thing that we have really suffered from this season is a lack of a clinical finisher. Even in all his great years for the club, Alfie Morelos has never broken 20 goals in a season. Cholak at one point looked like being the answer to that problem, but it does seem now that even Cholak is not the answer. We do need to find a centre forward that is going to score us 20 to 25 goals a season, and I think put us in a position to compete. Again, you saw on Sunday where chances were created, they were not taken. People like Fashion Sakala missing chances, and obviously, my views on Sakala. I really don't think the guy is up to playing for Rangers. He's not good enough, but Rangers really do need a clinical centre forward. We need at least 2 centre forwards, I think, bringing in this summer minimum, if not 3, if Cholak also moves on. But Piroe is certainly someone I think who could come in, make a difference. The guy's got speed. He's a good finisher. He's both footed. He is a very, very talented player. And obviously, he's used to playing in the hustle and bustle of the Championship. He's used to the physical element of the game. And we also know as well the success Dutch footballers have had in the past at Rangers. So could Piroe be an answer to our striker issue? Given obviously that Michael Beale has said that we need to be more clinical in front of goal, someone like Piroe who clearly takes chances, like I said, a nearly 1-in-2 record for Swansea, 52 goal contributions in 92 games, clearly shows that this guy has the class to play at the highest level. And I think obviously, the law of winning trophies, the law of playing Champions League football or even Europa League football for Piroe could certainly be one that pulls him towards Glasgow Rangers. There would have to be a fee for him. Obviously, he is entering the last year of his contract, but it's thought to be somewhere between 4 and 4.5 million, which I think the club could easily stump up for this player, especially if it now seems that Tillman will not be joining this summer and wants to stay at Bayern Munich. So, guys, what do you think? Is Joel Piroe the answer up front? Could he be the player that we turn to in terms of the future of our centre forwards? Guys, I'd love to know what you think. Hit me up with a comment below on Joel Piroe. Okay, finally this morning, I want to talk about that controversial character, Alfredo Morelos. Now, obviously, Michael Beale the other day called out Alfredo Morelos when he said this. He said, Morelos is moving on. I think you saw the difference in energy in the forward area. Morelos came on and not in a positive way. We'll need a focal point to the team for sure. Now, Beale clearly calling out Morelos and doubting Morelos' commitment, Morelos' effort, and Morelos' desire to play for the club. Add to that as well the fact that Morelos has in the past been called out not only by Giovanni van Bronckhorst, but also by former Rangers manager Steven Gerrard as well, over his effort, his fitness, and lots of other things. You know, Morelos is certainly a very controversial character. He has had obviously great success at Rangers in the past. You know, the fact that obviously, you know, his goals to games ratio across, if you look at pure stats, is pretty decent. His conversion rate, however, is not 1 in 4. He is obviously the top scorer in Europe, which is obviously something that, you know, that we praise him for. He was part of the Europa League run. He helped us win the 55th title. You know, so he helped us win the Scottish Cup. There is positives there all along, but there is also negatives to Alfie. Obviously, the red cards, the lack of commitment at times. You know, but there seems to be a debate at the moment over Alfredo Morelos in terms of how he will be remembered at Rangers. And I think, you know, perhaps in time, when the memory of this season has faded, we will remember Alfie fondly for what he helped us achieve during his time at the club. However, there is a current debate, and there's a poll on the page on Glasgow Rangers Nation on YouTube, on the community tab. I'd love you to go and vote. Do you think Alfie deserves a final goodbye? Would you play Alfie again this season? Would you allow him to come and one final Ibrox bow to say goodbye to the fans? Or do you think, you know, Alfie has kind of, you know, burnt that bridge with his recent form and the way he's been playing this season? You know, that is certainly something I think I would love to get your opinion on. Is it time, you know, just to say goodbye, Alfie, now, and not actually see him again on the pitch? Or do you want to see him one more time so that you can say goodbye and thank you for what he's done in the past? Certainly an interesting one, and I'd love to get your thoughts, opinions, and comments on that news. Well, guys, that's the news for this morning from Glasgow Rangers Nation. Please remember to hit that sub, ring that notification bell, set it to all so you don't miss out on any of the great content. And remember as well, if you can give the video a like, it does help matters. One final thing, Maris, I remember Glasgow Rangers Nation is now on TikTok as well, so you can find us, Glasgow Rangers Nation, at Glasgow Rangers Nation on TikTok. Please go and, of course, and follow us if you are on that on that platform. Videos, music videos, videos of me talking about the team as well, all on there. So please head over there and check that out. Well, guys, I'll be back to speak to you very soon here on Glasgow Rangers Nation. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for your phenomenal support. Please continue to hit that sub, ring that bell, and give the video a like. We are the people.